Hello. Okay, we should be live. I think we're live. Let me just check 1 second. If we are live, then fantastic. If you can hear me, let me know, drop a comment down below. I'm going to try and go live as well in like some Facebook groups. If it's coming through, is it going to come through? I'm not 100% sure if it's actually going to work. So if you just give me a moment. Oh, I should be live there. And is this line live here? This is just taking a while to sort out. So if anyone's joining, I'm just trying to get, if you don't know, Facebook's had a real problem with like, they've removed API connections and stuff. So like, it's like a real nightmare. So to be able to go live is really, really challenging. But if you are here, please drop your comments down below. Please drop your comments and questions below. Fantastic. I will just share that right now. And also I'm going to be trying checking the Facebook groups to make sure it's actually working. And then obviously we're going to be good. So I don't know where I am. This is FBK. So go live. And I'm just trying to get myself live into this streaming. So that's supposed to be live. Edit. Tom's having great fun right now, by the way. Absolutely fun. Cancel. Great. No, that doesn't look like it wants to work. I don't know why it doesn't want to work. Can we connect? That doesn't work. Right, we'll go live in Ahmed's group. But hey, are we live? So, okay, we should be live in Ahmed's group. We should be live on YouTube. If you guys are here, drop your questions in. Anything to do with Amazon. Obviously, I'm here to support you guys. And obviously, I can help you out as well. So, let me just check. I don't know if that's going to go live. So, if you do drop your comments down below, obviously, I'll be sorting. Don't continue. Oh, interesting. That one, I have no idea. Okay, so it looks like we're streaming into this Facebook group. We're into Ahmed's Facebook group right now. So if you are here, and obviously you are, in the chat, do drop like a hi. I should be here. I don't know if Ahmed unfortunately can't be here today. I know he's like he would be here last week. He dropped in, and then so I'm waiting to see if Gavin will be available. So if Gavin, if you're alive, let me know. Obviously, I can do it. So, or I don't know what Gavin's doing, but if you've got questions, drop them down below. Obviously, I'll be supporting you out in your business. But I appreciate he says yes, he will. So I've got to drop him a quick invite right now. Stay there, people. I will get Gavin on the live. 2 seconds. And obviously as well. So Gavin was obviously had priorities. He said he would join, and then he was like, nope, I was on the way to the shop. So there. So drop your questions down below, and obviously I can answer them for you, and obviously support you out. So drop your questions down below. I'm just trying to see if we can actually get this working into Facebook groups. And it should obviously be there as well. So obviously, so I'll give you a quick update in my business. So like one thing that I shared this morning within my team, within my VAs is right now is just getting to ask 2 questions. One is what went well today? And then also as well, number 2, what would they have done differently today if they did the same day? And the reason why I do this is because it's something really important to learn and reflect. And so thinking about how you're going to improve your Amazon business, what you're going to do to level up the game, that is so important. So do just let me check. I want to make sure if you guys are here. If anyone's here, drop a comment down below. I want to make sure I can actually hear you, see you. And obviously if you're in Facebook, I can see it. So Ahmed says hi. Hey, Ahmed. Ahmed, I don't know if you kind of know, like within Facebook right now, it's a nightmare, like trying to get comments up. So I have to have like 2 screens open. One of them, which I can see you. And then the other one is I can't. So this is like StreamYard. So I can say, please put your questions down below. But obviously, Ahmed's written hi. So fantastic, Ahmed. Great to see you. And obviously, just kind of like figuring out how this works. Not 100% sure, but obviously going from there. So we've got a couple of people in joining as well. So Ahmed, let me know obviously how you're getting on and how your business is as well. So yeah, lots of different problems with like streaming to Facebook right now. Not ideal, but it can be done, as I've literally just figured out. And Gavin, if you want to know, Gavin's obviously like, yeah, Tom, I'll come join you on the live. Great. And then he's like, man, give me 5 minutes. I'm just buying some chickens. I was like, oh, very nice. Very, very good. So absolutely love it. So let me know if you've got your questions about Amazon, what's going on, and see supporting you. Yeah, so Sean has said StreamYard is playing up on Facebook today. Yeah, Sean, like what problems are you seeing? Let me know. And obviously we'll see if we can get them fixed. But like within, like Facebook has basically removed all the API connections, so you can't really stream into Facebook very easily. It's still challenging which is a pain. Beforehand, it was a lot easier to do. Now it's a lot more like effort and hassle. So hence why like kind of setting this up is a nightmare. So Sean, let me know what things are going on. Also, let me know how your business is getting on. Obviously, super happy to hear that. My team, how are we doing today? Yeah, like we're fine. Like nothing amazing, nothing bad. We're if you don't know, we're doing a lot more wholesale now than we used to. Probably about 50% of our business is about wholesale now. So I'm releasing some videos around that and doing some like how we find wholesale and the way we do it, which is quite useful to share. Like obviously a lot of people are talking about how you do it. So US market, what we're doing there, and obviously it'll be applicable for the UK as well. So we're doing that, and then but like our business is pretty static right now. Like I say static, it's just like we're developing internally the processes to really refine it and make it better. So much better. So what did Sean say? Sean said it's to do with Facebook. Speak to Natalie too. She had the same issue today. She said she might scrap StreamYard. Yeah, it's not StreamYard. Like, by the way, it's actually Facebook. If people put comments in Facebook, they no longer go back to StreamYard. So that's the problem. So like, if I can see, like, I'll see if I can share for you right now. Present. Can I screen share? Yeah, screen share. Wow, I've got two monitors. Share the screen. So I'll show you over here. This is like what I can see right now. This is Ahmed's group. Right now I'm streaming into FBK. So I can see Ahmed's comments down here in the group, but I can't actually like select them and show them on StreamYard, which is really annoying. So I can only see them in the group, which is like, so it's an absolute nightmare. So not the best, but we'll see how it goes. And also, like, I think I can only stream to one Facebook group at a time. I can't stream to any more than that, which is annoying. Obviously, when you're trying to do cross collaboration, which is obviously what we're trying to do. So anyway, back to Tom. We'll just get back here. So absolutely fine. So guys, if you've got questions, drop them down below. What kind of things am I seeing right now? Like kind of questions that are coming up. People are, they're talking about, that we were talking about last year or last week, is talking about kind of getting ready for Q4, thinking about how that's going to work, like what's going on. And really like the big things we're looking at now, like buying, finding sources, VAs, for example, getting the team in the right place, always thinking about, I literally had a conversation today. So I'm super happy. Oh man, I should have said this earlier on. Like I am super happy. Why am I super happy? Because my purchasing manager has now signed off. Absolutely love this. And to give you a clear goal, like she has gone through all of the training that she's had to do. She now buys on her own. She analyzes all the deals. We're really happy with it. We have the process in place. She manages my team. Absolutely love it. I've now given her a roadmap to getting a massive pay increase to the next level. And the reason, and to get that pay increase has two key objectives. One, she's got to read 5 books, 5 management books. Number 2, she has got to make her staff achieve their targets. So that's going to be challenging. So that's the challenging one. So I'll just talk about that and to say like, for her, and I'm really happy that when she does that, she's going to achieve it. Now, the thing I would say is I don't think she's going to achieve the targets until Q4 because that's the best time. So I'm like, think about it this way. Q2, you're just getting yourself ready. Q3, you're going to ramp up to like getting the team really in place. In Q4, you're going for it because that's when you're going to hit the targets. And then you're going to get the next pay rise. And it's a chunky pay rise. We're talking like more than 50% increase when she gets that. So that'd be good. And obviously when she gets it, she'll get bonuses as well. So super happy. Sean mentions business as normal, I think he says. Business as normal, only 11% bigger than last year, but testing lots of new listings and seeing how the winners and how the losers. Sean, how are you getting on with private bundles, unique bundles, or like creating your own listings, for example? I've got, so a question I will ask all of you. I've got Natalie joining me for an interview Wednesday, and any questions you'd like me to ask her is great. I do want to obviously learn more about unique bundles and the way it works, but I'm not sure, is it working great? What's the situation with it? How's it offering? So let me know. I'd like to know your feedback on it. Like, it seems like you're growing and they're working, but like, how well can you scale with unique bundles? That's what I really want to know. So let me know. So FBK, I'm just gonna put this in here. From FBK, so someone just mentioned in the FBK group, which is on my Facebook, so I'm having to copy it over here. So share some points about wholesale FBA, like brand distributor approval methods, finding products, so wholesale using good strategy. Like really simple, like one I'll talk you through really simplistically. If you're looking for brands, the easiest way is to contact the manufacturer, and then they will tell you the brand, they will tell you who the distributors are, which I absolutely love. The other way I really like, which we have been using quite a lot, is very simplistically, should we say, just going into Google, typing in the brand name and wholesaler, which is fine, or distributor. But then on top of that, don't just put the brand name in, put in like a UPC of a product that you're after, or any of the products of the brand, and you'll start to find price lists. So that's really useful. And then another one that we do, which is quite useful, is once you've found one, go into Google Maps and look basically around the same area. So like industrial estates, you'll find probably quite a few different, like, should you say, birds of a feather flock together. That's the whole point. I think Gavin is coming online, so I absolutely love it. So 1 second, Gavin, is he there?
Hey, I just had my first ever salsa class.
All right. Gav, how long are you going to be? And I'll get you onto your camera.
No, I'm here now, but I'm walking home. I'll be home in
like
10 minutes.
All right, so in 10 minutes, everyone. Gavin. That's all right. Right, let Gavin, you do your walking home. I'll keep you on the call. And if everyone's got any questions for Gavin, which is here, let's see if I can name you. Edit nickname, Gavin. Save. If I can give him a nickname, that'd be fantastic. Yeah. So Roma mentioned, heck yeah, loving the salsa. Gavin, so if anyone wants to know, this is non-Amazon related, but we'll just do it for Roma. Gavin, how many lessons are you doing and why are you learning salsa? Let me ask that question.
Well, so today I had 2 hours, but I'm doing another 2 hours in 4 hours time. So today I do about 4 hours because I have the time to do it. Why am I doing it? Well, I just need to learn to dance, man. I'm in a country where everybody dances everywhere, and I can't dance. So that makes me an idiot. Therefore, the solution is to fix that.
That's like saying everyone in the game plays Amazon and you can't do Amazon, so you need to fix it. So that could be a top takeaway for anyone watching right now. So just be mindful. So, Gavin, you've done 2 hours with your teacher now, and you're going back and doing another 2 hours later on today? Same
correct,
teacher?
Sure. Yep, correct.
Wow, massive respect. Roma is going to love you. Give it about 6 months. Me, you, and Roma will be hitting it up on all the Colombian, Mexican, Latina places, going dancers. I absolutely love it. All the chicas, all the Latin chicas, absolutely love it. Okay, that's right. You carry on walking. Sean came back and said, "Works great. Once you find your winners, it's on you. You're on your own, setting over and over again. Fantastic." Sean, how much hard work is it to find your winners, which is the question? It's kind of like private label. Once you find your winners with private label, it's amazing. But finding the winner, that's the challenge. I'd love to know how much hard work. And if I were to put it in perspective, like if you're doing resale, it might take say a day to find a winner. If you're doing your own unique bundles, how long would that take to do? Gavin, I think you want to say something.
Yeah, so when you say find the winners, then you're good. I agree, but I also disagree, because in this game of Amazon, the reality is the work never stops, it never ends. There is always more winners to be had, and if you're not always hunting for better winners, then you're falling behind. So yes, it gets easier once you build momentum, but you should always be working, always be grinding, always be finding new winners, always finding new niches, always building bigger barrier to entries. This game never ends, and that is the game of business.
Yeah, I think it's a really good point, and I think I was thinking about the other day where it's like you need to build a system which is always adding value. So it can't be like I build a system which creates value and that's it, then it doesn't make any new. Like you're always making more and more value. And if you talk about in the world of Amazon, you're always adding value to the customer by finding profitable products, new winners, for example. So building that system is a really important part, so that it can keep finding and not just one off, which I think is so important.
Exactly.
So question here says, wholesale in the UK, good or is good for, not good for non-residents? I think you're not. So Mohammed, I don't think is in the UK. So Mohammed, I think for you, generally wholesale, you probably need a VAT registration. No, you don't need it. It's more, they recommend, it's unusual because the wholesalers will ask you for your VAT number. And what's interesting is if you're non-resident, you'll probably need to be VAT registered anyway. So probably a good idea. Probably better than OA, because OA in the UK is a bit more challenging. So when you're VAT registered versus non-VAT registered, still be done, but it's just more challenging. Or go to America. It's a lot different option. John Spencer. John Spencer is asking a question now about my lead service. So I'll answer this very, very quickly. Tom, how can I get some deals with specific products via your lead service? The product is discontinued in the UK. We don't allow like searching for a specific product or deal, if that makes sense. So it's kind of like we show you what you get. So I'm not really 100% sure exactly what you mean. If you can give me a bit more information, that'd be useful. If it helps. So Sean, Gavin, I'll say this back to you, and then Sean says it. Selling what people want and need, always creating new listings. Got your VA. I forgot her name. My God, I know her name. I interviewed her myself. Does all our listing creation one day, and then you get 2 weeks of honeymoon, which helps on new listings. So I'd love to know what the 2 weeks of honeymoon is. Sure, Gavin, have you ever thought about doing private listings?
No, why would I? What I do works, and and with private listings, I need like kind of different brand for an actual different branded product. I don't like anything that can give me potential complications in my business in the future. Like I don't want to jump into grey areas. To me, that sounds like a great area for business.
And what do you mean by grey? Define that.
Well, if you have a Cadbury's chocolate bar and you've named it, the brand is called David 123 on Amazon, is that really allowed?
Is it allowed if there's more like a Cadbury's chocolate bar and a Terry's chocolate orange, or like a Mars bar as well?
So this is what I mean. This is why it's great. Because now we're just jumping up with semantic questions to see if it's legit. So it kind of shows that we don't know, and we're just trying to play the game. What I do know is that if you have a Cadbury's chocolate orange with a Cadbury, then it's like you have different brands, but then you're calling it your own brand, or you add your own bloody spoon to it or something. Like, I don't know. Like, the question is that niche going to make me millions of dollars? If not, what's the point?
It's that question, isn't it? Where it's like, do I do a few things a lot, which is like what you're talking about. Like if you talk about wholesale, I do a few products, I sell them a lot, and I make a lot of money from them. Or do I do lots of little things? Or do I do little things but many times? So that I could have lots of listings, for example, or lots of brands, and sell them across many. That could be an option as well. So not like 100%. Again, I think there's different ways to slice the apple. And it sounds like, Gavin, you've just arrived home. I heard the door open. He's like, nope, he's yes. So obviously Gavin can share some good news. I wonder if he shares some good news, obviously, about his future travel plans as well. So I absolutely love that as well. So let's kind of go through Mohammed. So Sean, that obviously, I think that kind of answers that question. So let me know there. Mohammed says, which you recommend, UK market or is it UK market or USA market for new beginner OA wholesale? If you're doing USA, you need a lot of capital. I think we talked about it last week. $30,000. UK, it depends where you're a national of, so that'd be the option. So I think the USA has got a bigger market. It's bigger than the UK by about 11 times, but you need a lot more capital. That's the one thing I'd say. So yeah. 911 says, hey mate, might be living in Ciudad in Mexico. So you've got having someone else living in Mexico. Wow, come join us. How's the dance environment? Epic. I think you can dance every single day in multiple places throughout the entire week. Romy will know that one. I know it. And Gavin's actually, by the way, it's 12 o'clock in Mexico right now, and Gavin's already been dancing for 2 hours today. So absolutely massively impressed there. Gav, are you home? I'm hearing lots of movement.
I am, but I figured, do I put my camera on, or do I just prepare to cook food?
Put your camera on. We're live on a web stream, not on it's not a podcast, it's a web stream.
Okay.
I was going to kick you off when you didn't have the camera on, but I thought as you're walking home, I'll do it. It's quite nice. So it's good. Guys, if you've got questions, drop them down below and then put them on. And obviously Gavin and I will answer them. Ahmed was supposed to be here, but unfortunately he can't. So he's got other things that go on, but he did want to be here. So I can only apologize that for those who are in FBK, Ahmed's group, obviously, just let you know that obviously he did want to join or not. So do drop your questions down below, and obviously we can answer them as well. So couple of things which I'm really pleased with, and I'll say it again. I've signed off my purchasing manager. Is my 8th purchasing manager, I think. Don't quote me. Oh, Gavin's going to come back. My 8th purchasing manager. We've had people come and go. This is in the UK and USA, but she's now signed off. I'm really happy, and we're now talking about what she needs to do to get ready for Q4. So I absolutely love that. So What have we got here? So how do you make sure items are getting reviewed and processed by Amazon the quickest? There's not really much you can do. I really hate to say it. If you're talking about reviewed, now you might be like shipping in, if that makes sense. So look at your shipping options. So especially if you're in the US, if you're doing like Amazon logistics, it's quicker than non-Amazon logistics, even though it's more expensive. They ship in quicker. I don't know about the UK. Could be the same thing, asking groups. On top of that as well, but if you're talking about like review for Ungating, review for like, should we say, IP complaints, then I would strongly recommend, like it's just when Amazon does it. So he is back. Hey, Gavin, you're alive.
Yo,
he's good. Right. So, Gavin, you've had some exciting non-Amazon related news about your travel plans for the future this weekend. What do you want to just update everyone on your what you're doing with your life?
Oh, I've just I'm signing a 1-year lease in Mexico City. So a little bit less traveling and a lot more work is the idea.
Okay. Why? Come on, you're supposed to be like this nomad who's killing it. Why do you need to work more? Why not like travel the world? Come on.
Well, if I'm killing it now, imagine how much I'd be killing it if I just had like solid routines in place. And I was thinking of having an executive assistant. I want to get a chef hired. So every Monday they cook me entire week's meals. So I don't have to think about it. Then have a cleaner. Like, I love how much of life I can outsource in this city because it's cheap.
Agreed. Absolutely agree. You still got to read Dan Martell's Buy Back Your Time. He literally talks about all of this. It's brilliant. He's like, buy back your life, which is the last chapter, which I think you want. It's like cleaner. He's like, he lives in like a really rich area in I think it's San Francisco. I'm not too sure, but he's like, everyone around me is really rich, and they're like bloody mowing their lawn. He's like, I have a house manager. I have someone who manages my house. So like, they will literally 4 o'clock on the hour, they bring a protein shake. And he literally just puts his arm out and then grabs the protein shake and drinks it. I was like, that's what I need. Like, it'd be brilliant.
That's very interesting, but I think there's a point where if you do all that, there's a level at which your life becomes robotic, I think. Like, you kind of want to leave it a little bit open.
Oh, yeah.
So I think there's a bit of balance.
I say that. I'm not like, you have to, like, he has an executive assistant who manages the calendar. And then if he's not there at 4, he's out. He's got a private jet, so if he's going somewhere else, he won't have the protein shake at 4. But like, if he's in the house on calls 4 o'clock, she brings the protein shake. It's like, wow, lovely. So yeah, there are levels to the game. I absolutely love it. So let's kind of go through. So someone says here, I'm looking to list some items from Amazon UK that are from the US. So that's interesting. I'm guessing there's big problems with that, like FDA, like regulatory stuff. Like, you've got to be really careful with import, export, like regulatory things, like dangerous.
So in the UK, I don't think parallel import is illegal. There might be, as Tom said, there might be regulations around parallel imports. So I'd just be aware of that. And maybe the risk is worth a squeeze. And considering what you're doing is quite unique, it probably is worth a squeeze. So just be aware that some of the listings you sell might be like, have their listing removed at some point. So just manage your risk on that. Like, I'm not saying don't do it, but just look into the regulations and then manage your capital allowance to the products which aren't exactly legal for you to sell. But while I said that, if it was me, I would probably do it, but that's not advice.
I think there's a saying I learned in entrepreneurship: if you only did what you're allowed to do, you'd never get anywhere. Like, the money is made where there's no clear definition. If you talk about like A2A, for example, it's not clearly stated you're allowed to resell on Amazon. What it does say, some things you can't do, but everyone's a bit like, so like, if you wait for permission, you'll never get anywhere. So you got to kind of do it. So yeah, I think parallel import's an issue also as well. Like, FDA is not the same as like the same as we have in EU or UK, for example. Also, so EC, I say here, I'm closer to America than I'm UK right now, so I should probably sort that out. Sam says here, Gavin, how to turn unprofitable items to profitable? Buy better?
What? Yeah. The issue is on the purchase and on the sell. Like,
yeah,
is it unprofitable because the keeping list in tanked? Like, what have you done? Have you calculated how long it will take for you to sell that at a profit versus selling it at a loss and then buy other profitable items? But equally, if you keep buying non-profitable items, you'll always run into this problem anyway. So this is impossible to answer because there's just like 1,000 variables that go into this. But the honest answer is just get better yourself.
Yeah, give us more information, Sam. Let us know. So someone at SBK, this is Ahmed's group, so we can't actually, I have to copy and paste them into the chat. So someone says, in OA, some websites don't give us receipts and invoices, but just confirmation emails. Is it safe to work with them? Any best opportunities in OA and how to purchase in bulk quantity? So I think there's 2 questions there. Gavin, thoughts? I'm just picking your brain right now.
It's only ever okay if on the confirmation email, they give their VAT invoice. If they give their VAT number on the confirmation and it has like your company name, that should be fine. But if they refuse to give invoices, if they refuse any of this stuff, you're going to have a lot of issues with HMRC. And then even though I said confirmation email is fine, is it fine with Amazon? So just be aware that you are putting yourself way more at risk if you order from websites that don't give invoices.
Yeah, I love it. Cool. Someone says here, nice to see you, Gavin. Good to see you too, Gavin. Obviously, great to see you. So, question, when you send to the prep center, how to make sure it gets processed and sent to Amazon straight away? I think prep center turnaround time is one of the most apart from most important factor is they don't lose stock. Number 2 is that they're good value for money with the fact they don't lose stock. And then good value for money is they actually ship fast. Anything else? Is there any kind of advice? You just got to measure it, haven't you? And have agreement, ask them what they promised to deliver and then hold them to it. Thoughts, Gavin?
Yeah, I think you don't need it to get processed straight away. You need them to not lose your bloody stuff. That's way more important. And so I think you've got to set your priorities, who is your prep center? What's your contract? And even then, are you the person who's sending the stock, putting all the information onto the prep center sheet? Because I've seen many people who are horrendous and even logging all their items onto the prep center sheet. If you want your items processed as quickly as possible, make their life as easy as possible.
What you're saying a lot of people are not putting their items on the prep center sheet? Because I know it'd take another day, wouldn't it, before hi, we've received this item, can you put it on the sheet? That's another day delayed. Now we're going to check it in, then we're going to do it. You're just slowing it all down.
Yeah, and you're probably pissing off the prep center as well, to be honest. So everyone's emotional. If you keep doing that, they may, I'm not saying it's the case, but they may not see you as being as important. So relationships in business is everything. So make their life easy.
Yeah, agreed. I really agree with that. Jesse says, hey, Tom and Gavin. Hi, Jesse. Good to see you. Someone mentioned here, in your experience, what's the fewest items you could be sent to a prep center? I don't think you're asking the right question. You really want to be how can I grow my business? So I'd be how can I get more? But obviously all prep centers will tell you what's the minimum they kind of deal with. I'd probably say 100 a week, maybe 50 a week. I don't really know.
I'm sorry, but if you're asking this question because you have $1,000 or £1,000, whatever, then you shouldn't even be using a prep center. A prep center is there to save you time, but by saving you time, it costs you money. And if you have no money, your time is irrelevant. So therefore, prep yourself to make more money quicker.
Gavin, you're just so blunt. You're so direct. I'm trying to be nice. Right. Let's get back to the mix.
I'm tired.
You tired from salsa, are you?
A little bit. It was hot as well.
Yeah, it's hot. Not as hot as in the Philippines right now. 43 degrees C, feels like, and they say it might hit 50. It's that's incredible. So if you guys have got staff, drop them a quick message. Hey guys, I just hear it's really hot right now. Stay cool. Just be nice with them. So someone says here, how much is realistic to spend per month if you're living in Mexico City? Gavin? We're not balling.
So,
we're just having a steady life.
Like realistically, for a nice-ish, decent-ish Airbnb is about $2,000 a month.
Yeah.
And so maybe I would say your living expenses probably about 3,500 to spend
Yep.
to live a very good quality of life.
Yeah, agreed. Like I'm lucky. I got my apartment 3 years ago, which is the one I'm in now, and like my rent has not gone up at all, really. So like I'm like great, and I always had it as a home base. So my rent's probably like 1,100, 1,200, depending what happens. But then on top of that, I'll probably spend like another 2.5. So, and it depends. Like sometimes we'll go up to like 4 in a month, but it depends on what you're doing. If Gavin's here, it goes up. If he's not, it goes down because I just work more. If Gavin's here, he's like, "Do you want to go for steak?" I'm like, "Okay," and then it'll be like, "That was lunch. Do you want to go for steak for dinner?" I'm like, "Oh my god!"
And every time you go for steak, it's like $200.
Yeah, it's like $200 a steak. So it's not the cheapest in the world. And then I would just say on top of that, like my cleaning's not particularly expensive. You know, I probably pay like, what is it, $15 for once a week for a whole clean, everything for the house, washing, everything done. And then I just do a lot of like Uber Eats delivery, and that's kind of like grocery delivery. And I always order good food. So, but then yeah, like life's pretty easy. Like it's I say cheap, but like that's quite a lot of money relative to a lot of other people. But relative to what people live in, like Miami, where they talk about like, oh, we're spending 10,000. This is quite cheap, and it's a really nice quality of life. So yeah. MSB says, "Good morning. Question. No. Could you possessing expert in Amazon inventory management qualify to excel as a supply chain manager?" I don't think so. No, I don't really know. It depends who's hiring you. That's what I'd say. Let me just move to the next one. John mentioned, I don't think so. Is the answer to that one, MSB. Sorry, it depends who's hiring you. That would be my thing. It's not particularly Amazon specific. Let me jump through. John Spencer says, "Gavin, I'm hearing about a lot of sellers turning to FBM due to fees being introduced in the US across the border or just the US. Thoughts?"
I think Amazon is trying to push people into the Amazon warehouse distribution center. But yeah, it makes sense that a lot more people are going FBM, but then it's still kind of like Amazon prioritizes FBA sellers. So it depends on the margin of your business. And really, like the risk of running an Amazon business is if you start accepting low net margins. For example, if your net margin is 5% and then these placement fees come in, your net margin is now like 2 or 3, so you've been ruined. So I think like you have to protect yourself by going the extra mile and keeping minimum always 10% net margin. So that way, if Amazon does something, it's no problem for your business. You can handle it.
Yeah, you're like you can absorb the impact of the cost while you adapt the business. Whereas if you're running at lower margins, when they introduce it, you're like, now I'm losing money to just literally stay afloat. I'm not even staying afloat. I'm drowning, in a sense. So then you can't make good decisions. So margin's really important. Good learning. I love that one, Gavin. Woohoo! 2 rich guys. What's going on, Gavin? Are you rich relative to a lot of people? Yes. Relative to Warren Buffett, no, you're really poor.
I'm rich in quality of life.
Exactly. What's your new quality of life standard going to be right now? You're 2 hours per day on many different things. What is it? Give everyone a run through.
2 hours a day learning Spanish, 2 hours a day of salsa, 8 hours a day of work, maybe like 1 or 2 hours of cooking, then whatever. Actually, that's like dating? 12 hours gone already.
Yeah, that's a busy day, isn't it? Gavin, are you going to AMZ United? I'm not. Are you?
What is it?
It's an event in America for Wholesale. AMZ United. Wholesale.
Well, there's your answer.
AMZ United Conference 2024. Yeah, I think. Oh no, I think it's about services. Actually, I'm just googling it right now. Oh no, wholesale focused AMZ conference. I'm not. I've been to some of them, but yeah, it's not something that I'm doing. Who are there? Yeah, quite a few people are there. That's cool. Just interesting. Not this year. But Scott Needham reached out the other day and said, "Hey, are you going?" And some other people mentioned, which was cool. But I was like, actually, not this year. I've got too much going on. It's in August, so you've got plenty of time, Gavin, and you don't need a vaccination. # amazing.
The answer's still a no. I can't be bothered.
There we go.
It's like what benefit will it bring me?
just getting around other people doing wholesale. I think that's really important.
I have the perfect network already. And yeah, there's no such thing as perfect. I can always meet new people. But when I have a clear plan on how to like double or triple my revenue, it's not as important. I'd rather just settle down and work.
Yeah.
If you know what to do for your business, then there's a point where networking is just another form of procrastination.
I 100%. And like, how many people like, oh, I want to, I know this. People are like, oh, I want to watch a YouTube video. I need to learn about this. I'm like, okay, have you actioned what you just learned in the last video? And they're like, no. And I'm like, well, you're wasting your time, aren't you? It's like, you got to take action.
Yeah.
You're trying to sell specific products. Absolutely love it. From the FBK, what is your recommended BSR, number of sellers, monthly sales, should we say, for wholesale?
It's not possible to give answers like these because everything is on a variance relative to like the profit of the item. Like we have some items where we just buy 5 units, but it makes like $30 or $40 profit per unit. Like I just do what makes money. And there's a point where if we're only spending $100, then I'm not going to bother because that's not worth our team's time. But as long as we're spending like $300 or so minimum per ASIN, then I'm happy.
Yeah, I think we did the analysis and we looked at it and said we want to be spending minimum 400 per ASIN. Like, we're not there yet, but that's where we want to be getting, because then it's kind of like how many ASINs we have for like the amount of revenue you want to do, and then it's like managing them. And like I had that conversation with you, and you kind of said you should just get better at managing them. I was like, okay, fine. So, but it's like strategically what we're trying to do is increase that spend per ASIN, so that then we can just we're not having to deal with so much rubbish and actually just focus on more key lines, which is going to make it easier. I think we had that conversation with Johnny Smith, didn't we? Where he was like, I have 25,000 lines. We're like, why don't you just have 2,500? It'd be a lot easier.
Yeah, he a crazy amount.
He was a crazy amount. I know, but he's doing well. He said to me, yeah, he's doing really well. Right, Mia Wayne started my Amazon journey this January, and then I got my own VA. She's okay, but she's a shy one, and lately she's not any good deals for me. She's trying, but I don't know how to really help her. Thoughts, Gavin?
Can I answer this one in a very blunt fashion?
You can.
So I think there's absolutely no way you should ever have a VA when you have 4 months, 3 months experience yourself. Maybe if you source for a year and then you're doing like 50,000 to 100,000 per month in revenue from only deals that you yourself have sourced, then maybe a VA would be worth it. Because ultimately the VA or the team can only be as good as the owner. And no offense, but you have 4 months experience, but you're still very much a beginner. Like as much as I tell people to outsource, you outsource when it makes sense. And that's a case of when you have experience, you know how to do it yourself. You have a niche, you know how to guide the VA. But if you're only 3 months in, you have so much to learn yourself. And people want to hire VAs immediately just to save time. But a sourcing VA is one of the last VAs that I think you should hire. I think always an admin VA first if you really need to save time. So that way, you have more time to source yourself and make the business money. And if you're getting a VA because you don't know how to source well, then that's extremely problematic because then the VA will never learn how to source well.
So I will just add, one thing I also love and hate about Gavin is that he is direct. So I hate him because he's like, he just tells you the truth. But then also I'm like, yeah, like you're right. So if I'd be a bit nicer, at a fundamental level, a VA is a form of leverage, which just helps you do more of what you're already doing. And if what you're doing you don't already know, like well, then getting a VA will likely not just allow you to continue doing what doesn't go well. So, for example, here where your VA is not getting good deals, it's a struggle. So, like it's always a challenge. Like, and I know a lot of people got jobs. They don't have time to do it. And I would probably say in that situation, before hiring a VA, think about actually I probably need to make more time in my life to work on my business and learn the skills that I need to learn rather than hiring someone to do it for me. Because as I've seen in my own business and I've seen with other people's businesses is hiring someone when you don't even know what to do is just a recipe for disaster, because you cannot help them when they're not working. But if I'd be very specific about what can you do to help her, let's try and answer the question. I would just do basics, fundamentals. So you got to be time tracking to make sure they're actually doing the hours. This is a rudimentary mistake that a lot of people make, and even myself. Number 2 is the fact that we want to know, so they're actually working. Number 2, you do constant training with them. And then number 3, give them targets to achieve. So we're looking at what's their spend target? What are they doing? What's their plans? Creating what are they doing tomorrow? What's sourcing? How did it work? How many deals they found? They're always learning. And then finally, number 4 is you're just getting in there and giving them constant feedback on good deal, bad deal, good deal, bad deal. Why? What are you doing? How to improve it? There is an interview. You'll see a picture of me with a laptop going like that. Watch that video. That video is how we have our meetings with our VAs, and it will give you a good guidance to how to support them and the framework that we should use. So I'd recommend that one as well. But at the fundamental level, if anyone else is listening, learn to do the skill set first before you hire someone. That's a really important point.
Definitely a lot politer than the way I say it.
Exactly, because I'm just nice, Gavin. Gavin's just honest. Honesty first. How to pay yourself, Gavin? So obviously, when you're in the UK, or when someone's in the UK, how does your accountant do all the payroll for you? How does it work? If people right now are doing this as a side hustle, how do they pay themselves? I've done videos on this.
Dude, I have no idea.
Do you want me to explain?
Yeah. Thank you.
A, get an accountant. B, get them to tell you how much you can pay yourself. And the reason why I tell you this is because if you get it wrong, you can just really mess up your tax, which is horrendous, and you'll get fined. You're not fined, you'll probably get fined, but you'll pay way too much tax. So there's lots of different ways to pay yourself. There's a PAYE or a salary. In the UK, you can do W2, or the US, sorry, W2. Or you can do dividends. You can do it lots of different ways, but really you got to speak to an accountant. That's the question that I'm kind of asking. So that's really, really important. Someone mentioned here, best methods to avoid order cancellations, reordering from the same supplier. They do mention my name, but I've just talked a lot. So Gavin, over to you.
Why is it coming to me? I mean,
you do a quick
you
answer.
can use different emails, but it comes a point where you're doing so much to try and jig the address that if you're UK based and you have to reclaim VAT, then your invoices will get declined. So it comes down to the question, is the juice worth the squeeze? For 20 or 30% ROI, it's not worth it. For 100% ROI, hell yeah, I would do it. So, but then you're jigging the address. Now, I'm not going to tell you how to jig. You can go on Google on how to jig address. Just search how to jig addresses yourself. But that's what people typically do. Or they use a catch-all for Gmail. And you can Google that as well. Catch-all, Gmail. So basically, if my company name is Gavin, it'll be at gavin.co.uk. And if I send an email to A1XYB7 at gavin.co.uk, that does not exist. But it'll automatically forward it to admin at gavin.co.uk. So it'll catch it. So it's a catch-all. So Google that too.
And if anyone wants to know, I did just Google how to jig an address, and it does come up, and it tells you lots of good guides. There's even a how to jig your address generator and tools website, which is voila, just done. Gavin has just saved the world. Thank you, Gavin. And also, you answered my question. So Jonathan says, went last year to Mexico City, way nicer than New York. I would agree. Just nice culture here. I really like it as well.
When are you coming back?
New York's cool. So again, is he coming back?
When's Johnny coming back?
Johnny, when are you coming back? He's never coming back. He's in Portugal. Is he in Portugal right now? Is South Africa, Portugal? He does all the same kind of time zones. When you come back to Mexico, Johnny, we need to do round 2 of Acapulco. That would be fun. And Gavin's stomach's good this time, so we can get really, really drunk, which would be absolutely amazing. Right, next one. Okay. Gavin, are you going to the Sweets and Snacks trade show? I'm not. I don't think you are either. I guess it's a wholesale for a Sweets and Snacks trade show.
I can make one if you send me the money.
Oh, you can go there, so it's fine. Right, couple of things. Someone mentioned here, I'm thinking of enrolling your FBA leads list. How useful is it in terms of making amount? I will say, look, leads lists are good to get you started, to find suppliers, to get you open up. But like, you want to use that to build as a stepping stone to find more brands, more suppliers that are going to work you out. Do not think about a leads list as something where you're just going to like buy into it and then they're going to make you all the money. You don't have to do the hard work. It's like, it doesn't work that way. That's not it. Jesse mentioned here, Tom, you have interviewed Roma the Roma about account suspension and wanted to know better. Is it better to have just one Amazon selling account? Amazon, Gavin, do you have multiple selling accounts?
Yeah.
Or what do you know about this?
I have a wholesale one and an OA one, but it's completely different niches and different brands. Ideally, you don't want to do it because it's just an element of risk that you add to your business. So you need to have a very justified reason for it. But really, I would try and avoid it. Because Amazon will interconnect one. So if one gets banned, the other one gets banned. So then you've doubled your risk of suspension.
Yeah, and you get, like, if you don't know, Roma had this problem when he talked about it. He was like, account 1 got banned because of account 2, and account 2 got banned because of account 1. And so what happened was, he was kind of in a catch-22 where you were banned because you had multiple accounts, and it wasn't that simple. It was a bit more complex. But it was basically where, like, he could never get out of it. There was no like possible end, because they said in order to unsuspend account 2, you need to get account 1 unsuspended. And then for account 1, they said in order to unsuspend account 1, you need to unsuspend account 2. And it was like, it was never going to work. So Amazon basically just put them in a catch-22. I have 4 accounts, but only 2 of them, or 1 of them now actually trades. We had 2 trading, but they were trading on different marketplaces, which is perfectly fine. And they were different companies, so they should have been things. But I think that's an important point. But if you really, you shouldn't have more than 1 account in one marketplace. But if you do, the goal should be that you don't, they definitely sell different brands. Like, that would be the one kind of important point. Makes sense. Yeah, happy with that. Gavin, anyone who can ship? How to manage cheap shipping from USA to the UK? Like, shipping from the UK to USA, I have no idea. Any ideas, Gavin?
I have no clue.
I shipped a suitcase once from Vietnam, so I can't really tell you too much there. There's a good question come in just a minute ago on FBK. Let me just post this now. So I don't know, unfortunately, in regards to shipping, but this question just came in from FBK. Let me just post it, and then I can put it there. So, Tom, when you normally say go wide, not deep into a certain category, what do you mean by that? What do you mean by same category with different brands? Gavin, do you know what I mean? Or the question?
No, the question's for you, Tom, not me.
I know, but I could delete out the top and call it Gavin, but I want to know your thoughts.
Well, if you're new to Amazon and you have $10,000, you don't want to put $8,000 into one product or even into 4 products, because if those products go wrong, you have $2,000 left to spend. As a new seller, your goal is to get as much experience as quick as possible, and you get more experience going through a wider range of products, brands, categories, while minimizing your risk.
Agreed. Absolutely agree. Yeah, agreed. I would say exactly the same thing. Jesse mentioned 2 accounts in 2 marketplaces. Does that mean 2 different email addresses, even though you're using one IP? Yes, one IP. And it's, so that is the one kind of like, the reason is you got to think about it. I'm using the same, what do you call it? Passport. So they know who I am. It's like, so if one gets banned, they'll probably likely do the other one, but I never log into the same accounts at the same time. I used to do VPNs, like literally remote computers, but not anymore. I just can't.
I do, by the way. I log into different accounts on the same laptop with the same IP.
Yeah, and I've not had a problem. But I just make. Do you logged into both accounts at the same time?
Yeah.
Yeah. I just log out of one and log into the other one on different Chrome browsers, though.
Yeah, I have a Chrome extension for each marketplace.
Yeah. Okay.
Or
Fine.
for each account.
What about situation? Have you heard much about the UK at the moment, Gavin? Prices crashing left, right, and centre.
Yeah, once upon a time I heard about this, maybe 3 years ago. So I left the UK marketplace. Like, the reality is, the UK marketplace is and always will be a very tough marketplace. And if you source where everybody else sources, you have the same results. And the result is tanking.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I'm literally right now. Here we go. I'm just going to load this up. I'll share this in the chat. Okay, so there is a video of Gavin and myself and Seth in Mexico City, ironically, in WeWork, talking about Gavin making this consideration or decision. So I'll drop it in the description. Like, watch that, and if you want to know, it's like the battle of the Amazon marketplaces, UK versus USA. But in Gavin, basically, you in that whole thing, you were like, should I do UK, USA? And then you were like, oh, I'll move over. And then basically it got to the point where you're like, I'm going to shut the entire business down and then start afresh to the US. And you've done really well since, haven't you? Like, it's been absolutely mind-blowing. Yeah, so massive action, I think it is taking it. Absolutely brilliant. So let's do this question, and I'll do one more. So we'll do one final question, and then we'll jump on to May and systemized fulfillment and what's going on there, and then we'll wrap it up. So Anonymous says, I see many Amazon gurus recommending e-distribution for toys and Ungating. I tried and put almost $500 into a product purchase. My invoice got rejected multiple times. My inventory is ruined. Thoughts?
I used them, and it was fine. So the reason why they recommend them is because it used to, or maybe still does work. So I would question, is there something wrong with your invoice, like the products you've ordered? Does the UPC match the UPC on Amazon? But I do know that Amazon is extremely difficult right now in terms of getting categories ungated. The reality is, in America, right, there is so many fake stolen goods everywhere. And Amazon wants to clamp down on this. And how? Well, they need to make it harder for people to get ungated in brands. And your difficulty is the byproduct of this.
Yeah, I agree. And like even little things where it's like your address has to be perfect to the one on your account. If you got a prep center, you shipped it to a prep center, that has to be on the account. And a lot of times they reject that. You have to ship it to the actual address. That's the point. And I think someone was talking about it whereby they want to know, like, the goods you're buying are actually yours and you're buying them, not like, oh, we're buying them from these guys who are like pretending to be our prep center or something like that. And there's so many little, like, if you've got everything's got to be bloody perfect. I mean, absolutely perfect, absolutely fine. So yeah, and in the past it has worked. Anonymous says, I've talked to my sales rep and said everything is okay. We don't know why. And again, you've got to go back to Amazon. Cool. I hate to say it, cool Amazon account, Seller Health. Absolutely. Like, they're the people, like, sometimes they actually tell you why. Like, I've had it many times, like, oh, you didn't include this. Thank you very much. I will get that done. So let's wrap up the questions there and just do final question for you, Gavin. Plans for the next month. You're now, what's going on? And obviously you've just got an apartment in Mexico City. So are you not nomadic anymore? You a liar?
Maybe I am whatever I am. Tough luck.
It's a scam,
Anyway,
as Gavin says.
My goal is to get my Amazon business now to doing $400,000 in sales a month, which I think we're quite close. We've been averaging $15,000 per day the last 3 days. Our stock is at like $400,000. So yeah, that's my goal. My goal is always to keep growing.
Yeah, and any kind of like strategies or tips that you're doing that's going to, like, you know, you can share with people that might give them ideas for their business.
So it's important that you buy well, but also that you sell well, because most people don't know how to sell well. What I mean by that is the price at which you sell the products. Are you checking your best products that have tanked? Like, when should you actually sell them? Have you added custom mins? So just being aware of the proper and the decent selling prices of your products, and understanding how long it takes those products to recover in price versus selling them now and getting your money back.
Cool. Yeah, agreed. I think the learning I've had, the reflection I've had is about we're doing well. The team are good. I'm happy with it. We're getting better at buying, and it's just refining that. So, like, you know, we sat down. I talked about last week, whereby it's, You've got to get better at your purchasing. And right now we're taking a hit on a couple of products where we should never have purchased them. My mistake. But we're just clearing them down. And then it's like, you've got to be buying better. And that's the way, in any market, you talked about it, 10%, when the price change or Amazon change their things, if you haven't got the margin, it's going to be an absolutely huge cost. So that's one area we're looking at. And also as well, just getting the sources to try and improve how they're sourcing and analyzing. So that's a really important metric. And then travel-wise, Gavin, what's the game plan?
So UK in 2 weeks, no, in 3 weeks for the Systemized Summit.
Mm-hmm.
If you guys want to go there, go meet us, have some booze with us, get pissed, then come along. Then back to Mexico and Bangkok in October and Philippines in January, I think. That's kind of it almost.
Same as me. But systemizing, I go in 2 weeks. And then obviously back here, I still need to sort my visa situation out. So that's that. And then, yeah, that's about it, really. Yeah, not too much. And see how it goes. I might pop over to the States to do a few trips, events, things, but nothing too fancy. Practice the salsa. The weather right now in Mexico City is beautiful, so really enjoying it. And obviously get to see Gavin and his 4 hours a day. You're going to be a master. I cannot believe it. Absolutely love it. Honestly, massive. By the way,
I'm not doing that every day.
To you.
I just have the time to do it today, so I don't mind.
It's all right. Yeah, I'd say massive respect to you. It's a really hard skill to learn. I think that's really, really good. So fantastic. Right, let's call it a day there, people. If you like this, give us a big thumbs up. And obviously, we'll catch you at the same time next week. Have a great week, guys. Keep smashing your Amazon business. Bye.
Hasta luego. Goodbye.